coaches around families. She's a speaker, she's a writer, so she does so much. And in addition to that, she has 2 kids. She's raising 2 great kids. So I'm really pleased to introduce to you such an amazing woman. And I also know that just as you were entertained when we started, you're going to be entertained as we close out here. So I'm just going to pass it on to you.
Thanks, Kim. I appreciate that. It's been just an honor and a privilege to be speaking at all these events. And I saw Marcus speak last week, but he was even better today. And there is nothing that is as healing as listening to laughter. If I had to pick a day away from my kids to be able to start and in the middle and hopefully at the end it with a lot of laughs, it makes a big difference. Because I don't know about you as a mom, it seems like there's a lot of days that go by that there's just no laughs and there's no smiles. And I'm driving in the car one day, and my daughter goes, "Mom, what's wrong?" And it's like, "You look so unhappy." And it's like, I'm looking at her going, "I do?" And I think I'm just focused. I'm so focused, because to be committed, you gotta be really focused. Well, your kids don't see focus. They don't know what focus means. All they see is that Mom is somewhere else. She is not right here present. We heard some great talks today. Who saw Jennifer Brad on Growing Confident Kids? Who cried? Holy moly, talk about commitment. If you didn't see that session, at the end of the session, she shows this video about this young man at the Barcelona Olympics who was slated to win an Olympic medal and starts running and tears a hamstring and basically falls down in terrible pain. Gets up and keeps going. He is determined to finish. His dad breaks through security, comes out there and lifts his son up, and he's like, "Son, you don't have to do this." And the son is like, "Yes, I do." And the dad's like, "We're gonna do it together." And he basically, hobbles all the way to the finish line with his son. And there's this beautiful music playing, and it's just, we're all, Gina and I are sitting there, my friend Gina, who's working my booth with me today, thank you, Gina, and we're just bawling. But it's what we want for our kids, right? It's what we want, to lead them up there and then walk away and let them go across the finish lines all by themselves. Marcus said something else really interesting, and I'll get to my talk in a minute. I'm not even talking about commitment yet, but I'll get there. There were so many cool things today, so many things that I learned today. Marcus said that we need to think about having the end in mind with our kids, and what are the steps that we're taking along the way, right? Don't forget about the process. Don't be so focused on the outcome of this perfect child that you want to create. And by the way, please don't put that pressure on your child that they have to be perfect. I don't know about you, I'm certainly not perfect. I don't expect my kids to be perfect, right? I want them to enjoy life along the way. But one of the things that I think that I have learned as a parent that's more important than anything, and I think Marcus is a beautiful example of this, and so is Jennifer, and I'm sure a lot of you are too, you have to model for your kids the adult that you want them to become. There is nothing more powerful that you can do for your kids than to do a good job yourself of taking care of you. If they see you constantly putting yourself at the bottom of the list, constantly taking care of everybody else, how many of you feel like you just run around like a chicken with your head cut off all day, every day? Right, all those things Marcus said that we did, and all those surveys and statistics and all those things that they show, it's all true, but amplified like 500 times. Plus, I work full-time. I run a business from my home, from my dining room. My dining room has no doors. Thank you very much. Talking about when was the last time I had a phone call in private? It was in the bathroom with the door locked and my daughter screaming. I was like, "Let me in!" Anybody been there? Yesterday? Right, we've all been there. And whether you work or not, you don't get a lot of privacy in your life. But the biggest place that I think as moms we fail our children is by failing to follow through on our own goals and dreams. We are so focused on making everybody else happy all of the time, we forget about us. We forget about us. Maybe did like I did and spent years going to school. I have a PhD. I'm very proud of it. You know what PhD stands for in Texas, right? Pile higher and deeper. I can BS with the best of them. Right? All it means is I like school a lot. I like it a whole lot. I'd still be there. My husband said no. You gotta be home sometimes, honey. And this morning, I heard another mom saying this, it was a struggle. It was you in the purple, pretty lady in the purple. I had to get my son ready to go to soccer pretty late. And my husband's the coach, but he couldn't get himself and the kid ready to go. He could only get himself ready to go. My learning to play the upright bass. My son likes everything big. He is such a Texas boy. Bigger is better. So he couldn't play the violin or the flute. No, he had to play the upright bass. The upright bass is taller than my son. It's taller than me. So he's auditioned, past tense today, for the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra. Huge honor, right? So I emailed, and of course, me and the mom, I got it all set up, I got it all organized, and made sure we had payment in, and everything done, and where to go, and I emailed my husband, I'm like, here's where you go, and here's when you need to be there, and here's what he needs to wear. And so I get up this morning, it's 7 o'clock, I'm walking out the door, you know. I'm like, and by the way, you gotta find him some clean pants. You would have thought I asked my husband to capture the moon. 3 hours. He didn't have to leave the house for 3 hours. And he couldn't find a pair of pants anywhere. I'd already taken care of the shirt. It was ironed. It was hanging in the closet. Okay? This is what we deal with on a daily basis of moms. Okay? What I want to talk to you about today is the power of commitment. And why I think, as moms and as human beings, we fail to follow through. Okay? There's 10 different areas that I think get in our way and where we get in our own way. And I'm a former school teacher. I love like little cutesy things. I'm on page 16 in the book. Everybody open their book. My 10 steps spell out the word commitment. I miss being a school teacher sometimes, but not very often. I used to teach troubled teens. Troubled teens taught me more about being an adult and a parent and a role model and living with integrity and walking my talk than any other population, any other class, any therapist, all the years of therapy. Nobody taught me as much as these teenagers who had never in their life had anybody just look at them and say, you are a worthy, valid human being, and you deserve to be here and have everything you want. I want you all to walk out of the room feeling that way today also, okay? How many of you have a goal right now that you're working towards? Some dream in your life, and maybe you're going back to school, maybe. Anybody starting a business this year? Got one hand? Yeah, kind of, sort of, maybe I'm thinking about it, but I'm not really committed. There's still a back door over there. How many are trying to lose weight this year? Anybody not trying to lose weight this year? Probably a few of you. Yes, yeah. Anybody gonna run a marathon? Do a triathlon, half marathon? Awesome, awesome. I did my 3rd half marathon last December. My husband is one of the most fun things that we do together. Talk about creating great quality time when you're training for a large event like that and you gotta go run 13 miles together. Let me tell you, we worked a lot of stuff out. We did. We talked about everything. It was a point in time when our business was really struggling and we didn't know what we wanted to do and there was a lot going on in our personal lives and we're trying to recapture some of the romance. We're celebrating 15 years of mostly happily married life and 2 amazing kids this year in April. Very proud of that fact. And I come from a family that taught me nothing about commitment. My mom's on her 3rd husband. God love her. Hopefully it's the final one. So, and they're all keepers. I'm all close to them. Okay, my dad remarried young. So I was, the first time I went to therapy, the therapist, she looks at my family chart and it's like, there's all these parents and then there's 2 good kids. She just looks at it and goes, So it made for some good conversations. But I had to learn about commitment a whole different way. I've been committed to a lot of things academically in my life. I have a PhD, it's a lot of work. I have a great business, I've been doing it for 9 years, and I'm not giving up, gosh darn it, no matter what happens. But these 50 pounds are killing me. My kids are 12 and 9, can I still blame it on the daily weight? I don't think so. It's nobody's fault but my own, you know? But why am I not motivated in that one particular area? What am I afraid of? So let's talk about commitment. Everybody write down on their paper something that they're committed to accomplishing this year. One thing that you're committed to accomplishing this year. Step 1, connection. This is all about really listening to yourself. If you have something that you're really committed to, why? Is it really something that you want? Is it something your mom said you should do? Anybody like cringe every time they hear the word should because their mother said it to them so many times in their life? You should do this and you should do that. And my mother-in-law, when my son was 6 months old, told me I needed to start potty training. When my kids were 6 months old, they were completely potty trained. Well, guess who was trained? She was. Every night after dinner, she'd go sit him on the toilet. At 6 months, you're propping him up. I can't even sit up yet. And he was a boy to boot. Right? So shoulds can kill you. What are you deeply connected to? Why do you want this goal? Number 2, overcoming fear. I'm going to talk a lot more about that one in a little bit. Number 3, mastery. If you have something that you want to achieve and accomplish, what else do you need to know? Just because you decide to do something doesn't mean that you have all the knowledge that you need. I'm a big fan of continuing education. My husband's grandmother got a PhD in biochemistry when she was 65. Women, it is never too late to follow through on your dreams. It is never too late. But you've got to understand what you need to do to get there. The next one is mentors. How many of you think you have to do it all by yourself and it's not okay to ask for help? Come on. Are you out there? One little hand. Who's fiercely independent? Yes, come on. I know you're out there. You're just like me. It's not okay to ask for help. I gotta be strong. I gotta show my kids I'm strong. I gotta show my husband I'm strong. I don't need no stinking help. Guess what? The biggest mistake that women make is not boosting each other up and lifting each other up and being there for each other. Right? We're spending way too much time trying to climb over each other's backs instead of all working together to get there. We are surrounded by strong people in our churches, in our families, in our girlfriends, right? Mentors who are already in your field. You're going to go run a half marathon or a marathon. It sure is nice to talk to someone who's done one before, right? Get that feeling. My husband did his first triathlon last fall. He realized that he could have gone and joined all these teams and done all this co-training, but no, he's a man. I don't need help. I don't need a team. Well, boy, did he learn, and the team sure would have been nice at the end of that day to have someone there to hug him and hold him and support him and say, great job, that went through it with him. Okay? Mentors. I'm going to remember my spelling, C-O-M-M-I. Inspired action. Taking inspired action means really trusting your gut, really listening to what needs to happen, following those instincts. We all have them, but we tend to ignore them as adults. Okay, we all know what we need to do. And if you're feeling really stuck in a moment and you're trying to get somewhere, stop and close your eyes and take a deep breath, right? Whatever that higher power is that you believe in, just ask for guidance. Just say, what am I supposed to do next? And the answer will be there if you trust in that intuition. That's inspired action. Encouraging yourself to do one thing every day that moves you towards your goal. Just one. How many of you love to make to-do lists? Oh, wow. Yeah, we can bury ourselves with to-do lists. To-do list is not about inspired action. To-do list is, oh my God, I gotta get this done. I gotta go to the bank, I gotta go to the store, I gotta get the laundry done today. Oh, my kid needs a patch sewed on her thing before brownies tomorrow. Oh, it's overwhelming, right? To-do list can stop you in your tracks. It's the opposite of following inspired action. Not that all those things don't have to get done, but it's not inspired action, okay? The T stands for time management. Who needs more organizational tools in their life? And we're not talking the Stephen Covey calendar, right? We're talking someone to come in and reorganize our life and help us carve out those 15 minutes for ourselves, right? You have to write yourself into your own calendar. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, you have to plan for it, right? It's not going to happen because guess what? Our lives get in the way every single day. Something happens. Like last Friday, when I went to speak in Frisco, this never happens, but it had to happen on this day. My husband was out of town for a week. My husband hasn't traveled for work in probably 5 years, but he traveled last week. The son was kind of complaining, a little sick tummy all week long, but it wasn't too bad, and usually as the morning went on, it got better. I had to drop him at a friend's house at 7:15. That friend was going to take him to middle school a little bit later. I drop him off. 10 minutes later, I get the call, I'm taking Connor home. His stomach really hurts. He doesn't feel good. I'm halfway to Frisco from Plano. I have a speech to give at 9 o'clock. I left my 12-year-old son home alone sick. Because I was committed to being here and supporting all these moms, but boy, did I struggle with the guilt. Right? Mommy guilt is a killer. It can stop us from getting anything done, and you just feel beat down by the end of the day. I called him like every 50 minutes. He's still okay? I'm fine, Mom. By the 50th time that I call him, I'm fine. Would you stop going, please? And he was. And then by 9 o'clock, he was fine, and he wished he'd gone to school. So it was a great learning opportunity for all of us, and I knew he was going to be fine, and he's 12. Would I have done the same thing for my 9-year-old daughter? No. I would have turned around and gone home, called Kim, and said, Kim, you're going to get my talk today. And Kim would have said, okay, right, Kim? So time management, okay? The next M is for a measure of faith. You gotta believe it's gonna happen. You gotta have faith in yourself that you have the talent, the skills, the time, the energy, the money, everything that you need will come to you if you believe. Okay? You have to have a measure of faith. And you need to surround yourself with people that are going to give you faith, not take it away. Okay? Measure of faith. Where am I? I'm at my E, energy management. Oh, I skipped one, didn't I? I went to tell the truth first instead of time management. I'm getting all out of order. I am not an afternoon person. Can you tell I've had too much coffee today? Not enough chocolate. Definitely not enough chocolate. No, thank you very much. I am extremely allergic to gluten. Right? So Gina sat there eating her chocolate cake, apologizing, right? Because I couldn't eat the cake. It doesn't bother me, but thank you for offering. Energy management. How many of you have a regular exercise routine? Regular exercise routine. Okay? Not even a fourth of the room. How many of you have a regular meditation or prayer practice? Wow. How many of you go get a manicure and a pedicure at least once a month? How many of you get a massage at least once a quarter? A couple of you? How many of you have been out with your girlfriends just for the heck of it in the last month? Good. That's a little better. Okay. Where are you on your own calendar? Where are you? Are you lost? Do you even show up? When was the last time you had a date night out with your husband? Anybody have a date night in the last month? Okay, we're doing pretty good on that one. Guess what? If we want to show up and be present and model a healthy lifestyle for our kids, we have to take care of ourselves first. You're going to come away from here today excited, motivated. When you get home, you're going to feel good when you see your kids. You're not going to go home tired. Right? My husband, he was complaining one time we were out on a date night. This was not one of my more shining moments. It had been a really long week. On Friday, my office manager of 3 years quit. She was basically my partner. I cried for 3 days. I was very sad. It was a very tough time, but we got through everything, right? Her leaving opened up all kinds of amazing things. But the next night, after this, my husband and I were sitting at the Trinity Pub in Mockingbird Station, Dallas. My husband on his third pint of Guinness. Decides it's time to have a great relationship talk. And everything he said was right on. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I like to have my hour and a half where the kids get up, right? So he gets up at 6. I've already had a pot of coffee. I've already been working for an hour. He walks in the room. I don't say, "Good morning, honey. It's good to see you." I say, "God darn, the computer's not working. Will you fix it, please?" Right? I mean, this is the first thing he's hearing out of my mouth in the morning. And yes, I'm exaggerating. And I don't do it every day, but there are certainly times when by the time he gets up, I'm already frustrated and mad, and he's my software guy. And he complains. He's like, "I do work all day long. I fix computers for other people all day long, and then I come home and I have to fix yours too." I'm like, "Well, yeah. And the problem is," but his point was well taken. How often when your husband walks in the door at the end of the day, you're holding a screaming baby out going, "Here, it's yours. See you later." Anybody been there, done that? Right? Yeah, we've all been there, done that. By the time they get home, we're done because we're not managing our own energy. It's worth it every day for me to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning so that I get my meditation in. I have time to go for a walk. I get some of the emails and the stuff for the day out of the way. I manage my time and my energy. Okay? The N is for no complaining. No complaining. Look, this lady won't even look at me over here. See her? Her head's like dropping down. Guess what? No complaining. Surround yourself with positive people. What you focus on grows. If you're focusing on everything that's negative and wrong and bad in your life, guess what? You just bring more of it. How many of you have girlfriends you sit around with and just bitch about how fat you are all day? Gosh darn it, get out of the chair and go do something about it. If you want to complain about it, at least walk while you're doing it. You know? I'm serious, and I say that from my own personal experience. When the first I moved here, I was 7 months pregnant with my son. I knew nobody. Talk about a tough time. I cried and cried. I had been living close to my mom. I had to find a new OB. You know how hard that is when you're 7 months pregnant to build any kind of rapport? And then I got this OB that couldn't have kids of her own. Okay, talk about bitter. And then she scheduled a vacation. And the vacation was scheduled before she took me on as a patient. Right? And she tells me, like, "Well, we're going to induce you 2 weeks prior to your due date because I'm going to Europe." Okay, it was not a shining moment in my life. But you know what? All I wanted was a healthy baby, and I got a healthy baby out of that, and that's what I remember. I can tell you crazy, sad stories, but one of the first people I met was a girlfriend I met at Weight Watchers after I had my son. I've been doing Weight Watchers a lot, repeatedly, with lots of success. But I never got all the way to the end. I never kept going till I got all the way. But I realized with this one particular girlfriend, by the time we went through our first kids, and we kind of had our second kids together, and then, our kids are starting school, and we're still talking about how fat we are. I got really tired of it. I'm like, there's way more to my life than this big old butt. I have way more. I have a PhD for crying out loud. Surely I have something more interesting to talk about than my meal plans. Yeah, we do. I'm an interesting person. So I grew away from that friendship because it was the only thing that was really keeping us together. And it wasn't helping either of us. So surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with positive people. And then the last T is for tell the truth. How many of you say, probably today, sitting there and looking at all these big old pieces of chocolate cake, oh, I'll just eat 2 bites. I'll get back on my diet tomorrow. I'm gonna sneak 2 of those little French fries and we'll go through the McDonald's drive-thru. Just 2. I won't eat dinner to make up for it. Right? They're white lies, little white lies that we tell ourselves. We make excuses. Okay? We exaggerate all the things that are happening in our lives so that we don't have to face the truth about why we're not following through on our goals and commitments. Okay? I want to focus here for a minute on the O. The O stands for overcoming fear. This is probably the biggest reason that we all fail to follow through on our goals and dreams. And they might be small goals or they might be huge dreams. Right? Anybody when they were a little girl want to be the president of the United States? Anybody have that big of a dream? Nobody? Right? How many of you grew up to be what you wanted to be when you were a little girl? A couple of you? Phenomenal. Okay? Phenomenal. How many of you wanted to be a ballerina? Cowgirl? A few cowgirls? Yeah, want to be a cowgirl, right? I mean, I grew up in Texas. It was all about the boots and the hat, and mine were red. Were yours red? Were they pink? Were they? Yeah, red and white, right? And remember the little white hats with the little braided trim on them, We all had these dreams, and why did we give up on them, right? What happened? What stopped us along the way, okay? Kim, what are you afraid of?
Not succeeding.
Not succeeding.
I love success. I feed on it. So.
And what happens if you don't succeed?
Actually, I tend to not put myself in situations if I know I'm not going to be awesome.
Okay, that's the truth. I'm not even gonna try because I might not get there. You guys all know the story of Thomas Edison, right? The man who invented the light bulb, basically electricity. They said he failed 10,000 times. And when somebody asked him, how could you keep doing it for 10,000 times? He said they weren't failures. Every one of those was a learning opportunity. Every time he learned what not to do next. Okay, I'm like him. I'm like, I'm not trying that. No, I'm not gonna stand up there and make a fool out of myself. Trying something new, something different, right? I was one of those kids, I was on the softball team for a little while. I had the coach tell me, you should never play sports. You have no talent. Guess what? I haven't played sports since. I was 8, right? We cannot let people stop us in our tracks like that, right? We cannot. We have to have people in our lives that boost us up. What else are you afraid of? Volunteers. And I am a school teacher. If you don't volunteer, I'll call on you. I'm serious. What are you afraid of? You're not afraid of anything? Yes, ma'am.
What other people think.
What other people are thinking. Anybody else resemble that remark? Yeah. Right? We have all been forced to become so self-conscious and worrying about what other people think that we let fear stop us in our tracks. Is that who you want your kids to be?
No.
Is that about raising those resilient babies that Jennifer was talking about? Is that dad out there on that track running to the finish line with his son? That's the parent I want to be, right? The first time when I started my business, and I've been in business 9 years, I went to the Plano Chamber of Commerce. They didn't warn me ahead of time I was going to have to stand up in front of a room full of people and do a 30-second commercial. I turned as red as this beautiful lady shirt right here. I was so embarrassed, my legs were shaking. And they did it where they went down rows, right? So you knew they were getting closer to you, closer and closer. Right? And they're getting closer and closer. And I stood up and I turned a beet red. I I didn't even have a product yet. I just had an idea for a product. At that time, North Texas Kids was just a baby. It was an infant. Look at me now, right? If I would let fear in that moment stop me, I wouldn't have a business, right? I wouldn't be getting up here speaking. I ran a women's group for a year where I had to stand up in front of a luncheon every month with 100 women, every month. I got over my fear really fast, right? They didn't want to see some nervous Nellie standing up there shaking in her boots every time and talking really softly, and yeah, it's going to be a great meeting, and we've got a great speaker, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and yeah, and then it's going to be good, and yeah, I'll see you later, I'm going to go sit down, right? Nobody wants to listen to that, right? We all have gifts and talents that we need to share with the world. And what our kids are going to learn about being successful, they learn by watching us. What else are you afraid of? Not being smart enough. There's no such thing. Can I tell you that? There's no such thing as not smart enough. Everybody is smart in their own way, and we're all smart in different ways. I suck at math. My children are brilliant at math. I don't know where they got it, but it wasn't for me. Okay? I'm really smart at people, and I'm really smart with words. I love to write, I love to read, but there are things I'm not good at. I don't have to do them every day for a living, right? And guess what? We are never too old to learn. We are never too old to strike out and try something new. Thank you for sharing. That was a hard one to share. That was very honest of you. How many of you feel that way? That you're just not smart enough, not pretty enough, don't have enough money, don't have enough time, don't have enough energy, just, gosh darn it, I just don't have what it takes. So we never even try. I don't want to be that mom. I don't want to be that mom. I want to be the mom that tells the truth, that shows my kids I'm not perfect, that I show my kids that I'm willing to try every day. So what I'm asking from all of you today is to make a soul-level commitment to one thing in your life. I don't care what it is, right? And it can't be raising your kids, because you got to do that anyway. And we're all committed to that. What's one thing that you want to do this year that's all about you, just for you? Make a soul-level commitment. What it means to make a soul-level commitment is you don't leave any back doors open. Okay, we've all been there. We all say, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try it, maybe. Trying to, there's no such thing as trying to. When you're trying to do something, you're not actually doing it, ladies. Okay? I want you to make a soul-level commitment with your whole being. Commit to taking one inspired action every single day. Tell yourself the truth about what's going on related to that goal. Follow inspired action. Surround yourself with positive people. How many of you have mothers that you don't ever want to share your dreams with because they're not supportive? Any of you got moms like that? Okay, or dads like that? Or husbands like that? Or sisters or girlfriends? We all have people in our lives who thrive on tearing other people down. Please stay away from them. Okay? Focus on the positive and tell yourself all the great things that are going to happen. And remind yourself when you're feeling stuck and you're sad and you're blue, remind yourself, I'm doing this for me, but I'm also doing it because I am the adult that I want my children to become. I am the adult that I want my children to become. What greater gift as mom can we give our kids as mom, right? As living our own dreams and passions. And believe me, you can have it all, ladies. You can. You can have a life, you can have a career, you can have a happy marriage and happy, successful kids, right? You can plan it all to make it all work. I'm offering a seminar called The Power of Commitment, Why We Fail to Follow Through. And I'm looking for 2 women today who are ready to jump on board right now and make their dreams come true. The first 2 hands that come up, I'm going to give you free admission. You and you in purple, right? Okay? If you want more information, it's a 6-week teleseminar done at night over the telephone after the kids are in bed. It'll all be recorded, so if you miss one, you can take it, come and see me at my booth. And please, focus on the positive. What you focus on grows. I hope you've had an absolutely amazing, phenomenal day. And when tomorrow morning comes, and the kids wake up way too early, and Dora's blaring in the background, and your son's driving his car over you in bed, and you look at the clock, and you go, you got an hour to get everybody in bed and dressed and out the church, oh my gosh! And all those dreams and goals just go out the window for the morning. Make sure you come back in the afternoon. All right, and check in with yourself and say, I had a great day yesterday. I am not letting go of it. And when it gets to be 5 o'clock on Monday and you blew your diet that you started on Monday by 5 o'clock, when they're done that, okay, Tuesday's the new day. Go and live your dreams. Thank you very much.